Hello, dear friends. Yesterday, I talked quite a bit about fear and how the Matrix is basically made out of fear. They're like the same thing. And then later in the day, or shortly after I finished the video, I got kind of an image of like, let's say there's two worlds or two earths, and one is made of fear. This one, it's all fear. Everybody is afraid. Everything that's happening there is something to be afraid of. It's pretty dark. People are separate from each other, from themselves, because it's all fear. So you have to stay away from everything. And then there is a world, an earth here that is made of pure love. And when we live in this world of pure love, we just love. It's kind of that simple. When you drop into that frequency, you just love. But I know that's easier said than done. Trust me, I know a bit about it. But I want to just kind of bring these two images to our mind here. And when I talked about the matrix is fear, that is the world we live in. That's where we live. So every time we accept an invitation or a suggestion of fear, we live in this world. There is no point in changing this world of fear because that is what it is made of. If you want to change something in the world of fear, you just change it into another expression of fear. Because here only fear resides. And that is the world that we have been living in for a very long time. And we are very identified with it. And you can see what's going on in the world right now, that the fear is growing. And that shows up, as battling with each other and pointing fingers and, being angry. That's all part of that experience of fear. And fear, to me, I think that there's definitely saying that, it's you choose love or fear. Maybe that was in the book called the Book of Miracles. Yeah, I can't remember right now. But that, no, the Course in Miracles. I do believe that's where that came from. Do you choose love or fear? And when you go down a little deeper in that and just don't use it as a concept, every time we do not choose love, which is this world, we choose fear. And then we are living in a very fearful existence. When we choose love, we are in a very different world. And many of us are moving more and more over into this world. But in order to live in this world of love, we need to be expressions of it. You can't just think you can live in love if you are engaging with fear. And when you engage with fear, that's when all the battle and the anger and the things that are going on in the world. And then people are thinking that when they keep engaging in that, somehow they're going to create a world of love. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to stop engaging in the fear, and then you come back out of it. It's like, well, what do I do now? That's where I always invite you to come back into your heart and start feeling what is it that you want then. If you don't want to live in the world of fear anymore, what do you want? Very important question for all of us to inquire inside. Well, what do I want? What kind of a world do I want to live in? Most of us want now a world of love where we are loving and kind to each other, where we create things together that support each other, where it's not about comparing, competing. That only happens when you are living in fear because you're not connected to love. Love is everything we'll ever want. It's, if you're a very loving parent, you want to give to your child, right? You want to just give the love in whatever way fulfills that child. And that is how it is when we live in the world of love. When we individually choose that, it makes absolutely no sense to not love yourself included in that. And here's why. Love is, in reality, love is all there is. When we cut ourselves off from love, it's very scary. We get scared and we start living in fear, this world here. We think we need to create and work hard and la 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 la, all the things we do, struggle, strive, fight, battle, war, because we feel cut off from love and from our true fulfillment. And then we go and create this world up here. It's not really us creating it, it is fear creating an appearance of what it is like to live disconnected from love, disconnected from fulfillment, from the divine. That is this world that we have lived in. We're coming back. Self-love is very important. If you know that there is only love, it makes no sense to exclude yourself from that love. The moment you exclude yourself from love, you're back here. This is the world of fear, which is the world of no love. See? So if you want to live here and you are not being loving to yourself, immediately you're back here. You live in fear. It's probably impossible to live outside of fear if you're not loving yourself, because you are excluding yourself from the fulfillment that love gives, that love is. So, very important when we want to create a world based on love, which is already here, okay? We can't create it, but we can connect with it. And of course, we do that through the love that we feel in our hearts. If you're not feeling love in your heart, I would be curious about how you are excluding yourself from that love. Once you start love to flow to every part of yourself, this doesn't happen overnight, okay? But it is the journey we all need to go on. Once you let it flow through every part of your body, every part that you have excluded and kicked out on this planet fear here, you lose connection with the truth that you are. I don't know if I'm saying this clearly enough. When I had my big bang awakening back in the late 80s, I think it was, I realized that there was only love. I was love. I couldn't not love every part of myself. It was impossible not to. It felt like in the beginning I was just walking around with myself in this loving, loving embrace. And, everybody I met, there was just love. It's very beautiful. And that was because I had an opening to love. It didn't last because I had a lot of layers, like we all do, that had not been consciously met with love. And that's where my journey started to become a self-love mentor and my awakening journey back to love. But, I realized that I am love. And if I do not experience love, it is because I am denying myself love in whatever way, shape, or form. And it hurts. It is scary. If we want to move away from the fear planet back to our natural state of love, let's start with loving ourselves in the best way we can and or reach out for support. This is not easy if you have never done it before. And we all have layers that we don't even know about. And some of the layers can be very, very sticky. Not because there's something wrong with us, but it's because we have been pumped with this fear and unworthiness and not good enough on this fear planet where we've lived on. And that still lives in us as if it is true. We may not even question it because it's so darn familiar, right? And it takes time sometimes to see what we're actually doing to ourselves. So start taking this self-love as a real practice for yourself. Get curious about where and how you're not loving yourself. For me, the basics of that is learning what a yes feels like and what a no feels like. Because once you get in alignment with your true expression, there's a yes and there is a no, and there's an up and a down and a right and a left, whatever it is, there is a movement. This movement is who we are, you might say. So if we keep denying when we feel a no to something and push ourselves to do it anyway, or we really want something and we just say, no, you can't, I don't deserve that, or whatever it is. Or we compromise, we're in a relationship and we keep compromising our own values, or we comply to things in the world. There's plenty to comply to that we don't really want, but we do it because we are afraid, right? That's the fear that still runs us. Love does dissolve fear because fear is simply a lack of love. So that's why when we start loving the parts in ourselves that we have denied love, we come more into oneness with who we are. And we start moving with a bigger amount of love energy, radiating out of us and guiding us and fulfilling us. So to me, if we want to live on planet Love Earth, I don't know if we can do it like really from a felt sense, embodied state, if we keep excluding ourselves. And self-love is not something we do up in the head. It is something you can feel deep down in your body. And when love is brought to these places that we have denied because we have used our mind to talk ourselves out of what is our truth, what we value, what matters to us. You get cut off, and then you may think you're doing a loving thing to yourself, but inside of your body, you're not feeling it. There's still this contraction. It's like, oh, I can't have that. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, they don't like me. All that stuff. So we need to bring our own love to these parts inside. And then it's going to matter less and less what other people think about us. Because we know who we are. We know what matters to us. And we take ourselves seriously. So when you start moving from your own flow and somebody comes and says, oh, your flow is terrible. In the past, you might have just gotten knocked off your flow, but now you're going like, oh, let me check in. Nope, nope, sorry, I'm right on track. And you just keep flowing. And these people here go like, hmm, they don't know what to do because you don't engage with that. That's a fear thing, right? Anger, fear, just like no interest. You go in, no, this is my truth. So you just keep flowing because you're on your love flow, your love wave, and it knows exactly how to move you into your own expression and fulfillment. So based on yesterday, talking about how the matrix is made up of fear. So that's kind of here, and I know I make it look like it's here and here, but in reality, this fear is covering the love planet that we already are, where we already live, but we look away from it because this veil, right, the veil of illusion, is tricking us into believing that we are not already love, that we are not already living on planet love. And that's why we move away and then we get stuck in that veil that looks like a separate planet. And that's where we live our life. But if we can start seeing through this overlay or this veil and then let it go, bring love to it, bring love to the parts that have believed this. This will just dissolve when we don't feed it anymore, right? Because the matrix needs our fear and our attachments to survive. So let's stop doing that and let's bring that energy back to ourselves and really start honoring what matters to us. Okay, so welcome to Planet Love Earth. This is where we want to really start living on and from and in with each other, opening up that love channel first to ourselves, and then it automatically flows over. You don't have to effort to love somebody. You just don't want to leave your own love wave, your own love flow. It's like that. That's crazy because if I leave this, I'll be back here and I don't want to live there anymore. So the choice to stay here in our own love flow just gets stronger and stronger to the point where you're just like, why would I ever leave that? All right, so let's flow together in love and really bring that flow here onto our beautiful planet.